What's going on, everybody? Joey Nohana here, joined by the two men that join me on every single episode. Tyson Tulu to my left instead of Anthony, and Anthony directly across from me, and we are joined to talk about NXT Takeover San Antonio, which was extremely controversial, depending on who you are. And some of us have a lot of things to say about this, and we will get to the complaining and the weeping of probably the most shocking main event we've seen in quite a while.
We will.
I wouldn't say it was shocking.
Not shocking, but it was definitely a turn I personally did not see coming. Before we get started, I would like to talk about the overall product. For what they had to go into this, they did a very good job.
Yeah.
Everyone was in ring. Everyone did fine, because when you have literally 2 weeks to build an event, what are you supposed to do?
Yeah, outside of the women's match, there was really not much.
Everything was.
I'm not giving them a pass for that. It's their own fault that they didn't have time to build. So,
I mean, they were on breaks and stuff. Like, it's called a holiday break, and they traveled.
It's not a holiday break. They went to different countries. They didn't have to do that.
No, they did take a break too.
That's cool.
They took some time off.
Yeah, but that's all self-imposed. Like, I'm not going to sit there and give them.
But for an event that was thrown together literally 2 weeks prior, it was not terrible.
This is going to be better than maybe all of one. It's going to be better than every WWE pay-per-view except for maybe
which
one or
isn't
two.
Saying much. The
But
bar's
still,
not very high there.
Still, for just
saying.
This being the weakest NXT special to date, it's still a pretty solid.
I personally, as a guy,
I'm not gonna hate on it, especially since it's only 2 hours.
It was resoundingly average.
Yeah,
I liked it. So that's my opinion.
I didn't hate it. No. I didn't hate it.
I liked it for the simple fact that they knew that they didn't have any build, so the only way to get this over fairly quickly in a very small amount of time was to get guys that knew how to work together very fast, and that's all you could do. There's really nothing you could do. And Dillinger and Young had one segment to build this up, and Roddy and Almas had a backstage segment to build this up, and Roddy on the mic. But for the time that they had, and for what was thrown into this, the in-ring work, I knew for a fact that the in-ring work was going to save this, and it did. Everyone did fine. No one was awful.
This is a very solid wrestling show.
Yeah. And no one did terrible. Not even the women. Not even Peyton Royce and Billie Kay, who were the worst wrestlers on the face of the earth, could halt this program from being actually good.
That's not true. Billie Kay.
It's extremely true. But let's get into it. Ty Dillinger, the most over man on the face of the earth.
No, that ain't true. He's the third most over man on the face of the earth.
He's
still behind Nakamura and Bobby Roode.
This guy's over like Jesus, man. I don't know.
Well, if he's over like Jesus, then Bobby Roode and Shinsuke Nakamura are over than something more than Jesus.
I don't know, man. Ty Dillinger is over on a lot of different platforms, is what I'm trying to say here.
The 10 is over. But
that's Ty Dillinger. That's his gimmick.
I guess the Bobby Roode is really just the Glorious. But
he has leaked onto the main roster in terms of.
I'm not saying that he's not over,
but
he's not the most over guy.
Whatever. That's your awful opinion, sir. Ty Dillinger versus.
Do you hear the crowd singing Bobby Roode's theme every show?
Do you hear the crowd screaming Bobby Roode's theme on the main roster, or do you hear tens all the time?
Because Bobby Roode's theme doesn't play on the main roster.
Anyways, Ty Dillinger is extremely over. He's taking on Eric fucking Young. Okay, the guy that tried to recruit him into Sanity. The match itself was very well done.
So
these are very good performers. There was nothing wrong. The camera, however, the cameraman sucks. Due to the simple fact that when Sanity showed up, they zoomed in on everyone in the group. And then they zoomed in on an invisible Nikki Cross, who was
conspicuously absent due to her prepping for her match.
But I thought that this was stupid, so stupid that the guy completely forgot that she wasn't there and still gave her a good
Hey man, you were so used to doing one thing.
It's ridiculous.
Thankfully, when she did show up, she only zoomed in on her and not three other invisible men.
Right.
Aside from the camera being a complete fucking moron. Eric Young sold the shit out of this match. There was a lot of selling. I mean, he was dying. I believe he was having seizures on the mat.
This guy, by selling, we mean this guy was literally convulsing on his back well after the move took place. Like,
there were a few kicks that he received, and he just looked like he was having a seizure.
He was going full epileptic, bro. Like, it was weird.
My favorite, there was one spot where he's getting whipped. He's going to get whipped into the corner, and instead, just total direction change. Tossed himself over the ropes and takes a back bump onto the floor.
For no fucking reason whatsoever.
Most of this match...
see him make the direction change.
Yeah.
Most of this match was dedicated to Sanity trying to interfere, and Ty Dillinger, as stupid as he was, tried to fend off these men instead of...
They were making him look like Super Ty at one point.
They were?
Yeah.
He got his shit in.
Yeah.
He got his shit in a lot of times on these guys. However, I do want to admit that he used up a tiebreaker on Wolf instead of Eric Young.
He got it off on him eventually.
He got it off on him, but I just liked how he hyped it up and then used it on someone who's not even in the match. But that was the point that that was the preset that Sanity wanted to put out there, is that they will have Eric Young's back no matter what. So he spent half the match fighting these fucking guys off. And after that, he hits the tiebreaker. Wolf puts foot on the rope. Why is that on my fucking thing?
Oh, he put his foot on the rope.
He grabs,
okay. I'm sorry. I totally lost track. I thought like Wolf was in the match.
No.
All right. Cheats his way into getting Eric Young not lose this match, and then Drake Younger has glaucoma. Didn't see Drake Younger. Drake Wirtz. I'm sorry.
To be fair, he was looking down. He doesn't look up right away.
But he looked up and said, Ty, this guy's foot's on the rope. I can't count to 3. I'm so sorry. But that was the funniest part about it. In the end, Eric Young wins with a wheelbarrow neck breaker, and we have a victory for Eric Young over Ty Dillinger. So I didn't think this was going to happen, but they're playing up Eric Young now.
Yep, that means Ty Dillinger call up confirmed.
I hope so. Because
that's when there's a lot of rumors like that, and then there's a loss on a big show, especially when they think the rumors that he's going to be debuting soon after that show. That's generally what that means.
They basically have to, because I mean, like, otherwise, what are they going to do with him?
No.
You know, he's already lost to pretty much everybody that he could possibly lose to.
He's coming out at number 10,
and he's like questioning like, oh, am I
Later
fit for
today,
this? You know, so yeah, I could see that.
So Sanity is now a force to be reckoned with on NXT television.
That's good. You got to keep building that, making them look strong.
Absolutely.
I would like to see more of Killian Dane.
They're your big heel stable.
Interested in this large man to see what he can do in this ring. But Eric Young, it's always good to see Eric Young on top, because we enjoyed him very much in TNA, and it's good to see that he's not being put to waste here.
For the longest time, for like a year, they weren't doing dick with him. You know?
I was not watching TNA. I haven't watched TNA in forever, and I have no idea what's been going on with him. Apparently, he won the title at one point.
Yeah.
Don't remember. The last time I was into Eric Young, he was running around with miscolored socks and ODB. So that was the Eric Young I remember and cherish.
He had a cool run when he won the title, and then he turned heel, and it sucked.
Yeah. Well, that's TNA in a nutshell. Roderick Strong versus Cien Almas. Andrade Cien Almas, I should say. This match started out with a lot of mat wrestling, so Roddy took it to the mat for the most part.
This is probably my favorite in-ring.
This was a very good in-ring work here. Almas caught Roddy with a hanging armbar on the ropes, and that was the focal point of the match, was the arm of Roderick Strong. So when Roderick had to get he had to make sure his arm was covered up, didn't get more damage on his left arm. But Roddy got off a lot of good kicks in this match, a lot of great strikes. They hit hard, very hard, because Roddy likes to hit hard a lot.
Yeah.
And
there was a couple of kicks. There was the drop kick that Roddy hit on Almas.
That drop kick was fun.
And then Almas hit like a front kick on him, and like both of those kicks looked like super legit.
Hit both of these men hurt. They look like they hurt a lot.
This match kind of looked pretty stiff.
For the most part, Cien Almas was trying to target the left arm of Roderick Strong. However, Roddy would always sort of counteract him with a hard hitting kick of some sort.
Yeah.
Then Roddy drops my man Almas on the fucking top of the turnbuckle, and you know what? When I saw this moment, when he just drops him on the top, I wondered to myself, this has to hurt. And then Percy Watson reassured me,
Yep.
Indeed, this does hurt.
Because I'm pretty sure that no one ever knew until Percy Watson pointed out that there's that there's some metal in there.
There is, folks, there's a hard part on the turnbuckle.
Oh, man.
If you don't know this...
You mean that pipe that holds the ring together? Oh.
Yeah, he dropped him on that thing. So Percy Watson, thanks.
Yeah.
You are...
We don't know what we do without him.
Wasn't that the spot that Charlotte botched?
That is exactly the Charlotte maneuver that she was going for, that she severely sucks because she sucks at wrestling. And
I wouldn't say she sucks at wrestling. But she did botch that pretty hard.
To be fair, Charlotte is not bad at wrestling, but boy, her segments really make me rethink her career.
Yeah, her segments suck.
So, Roderick Strong, after a lot of hard hits and great maneuvers and a lot of countering, Roddy wins with the sick kick. Sad he cannot do the
end of heartache.
End of heartache.
I was really hoping for an end of heartache, man. I was
everyone's favorite move, but WWE and whatnot can't allow that to happen.
I'm glad they let Roddy go over here. I hope they really start to do something with him.
Yeah,
he's one of my. I forget that he's one of my favorite workers because when he gets going, he's a really quick worker and he'll land 4, 5, 6 spots right in a row in real quick succession.
Roddy's probably my favorite wrestler on the planet next to Zack Sabre Jr. and Kyle O'Reilly. But you know, I do like to see Roddy win. But my bigger question is, and I do, I'm very biased towards Roddy. I like Roderick Strong very much, but I do wonder what is happening with Cien Almas because he hasn't won a big match on NXT television in quite a while. So
is he gonna be
what's this mean for?
Guy, or?
He hasn't won a match. See, they look like they're trying to reinvent the guy, so they reinvent him as a heel. He's not a bad heel. He's fine. He's not phenomenal or spectacular. He's just kind of
trying to do all the Naito shit though, but.
He's trying to float with everybody else. He's not exactly on everyone else's level, per se. But I understand that they're trying to do something more with him. Because, for the most part, he hasn't really done anything noteworthy. But now that he's lost again, where do we go with this guy? What can we do with him possibly now?
The thing is, we already have a mid-card Spanish guy in No Way Jose. So, unfortunately... He's going to have to, vie for, a spot in the mix of that, you know?
So very sorry, but I would rather take Almas any day.
Of course.
Almas is...
Of course.
La Sombra has a place on the roster a lot more...
10 times better than No Way
than fucking...
And his arch nemesis Keanu Reeves.
Yeah, which that was just so fucking weird, man.
Yeah.
The Rock's cousin once removed.
Security.
Well, so the future of Cien Almas is very much up in air, for me at least, because now, like I said, we don't know. It almost seems like when you have a guy that you're trying to reinvent and he just keeps losing, what's the point of reinventing him over and over again? But we will see what happens, because Almas, at this point, is not even close to the title at all.
No.
Not even sniffing the championship.
And I feel like he's
whatsoever.
running out of dudes to feud with, They might have to maybe give him Hideo or something. He's not doing shit right now.
Yeah, well, if Hideo wasn't so busy slipping on, fucking soap and, tearing his quad.
Yeah, right?
Every time he farts.
Well, maybe if he tried wearing something other than his mom's shoes, he'd have a little more traction.
That star has fallen so bad.
He was so hot when he came in.
And he was the first of the imports, from Japan and stuff.
Yeah.
He was
the original.
He opened the door for that. Yeah.
During this whole NXT
they didn't
raid.
do a damn thing with it, man. That sucks.
Like I said, this guy slipped on some soap and tore his quad. So he he broke his arm or whatever, and then now this time around, guy fucking he farted and tore a quad. So that's a Tommy for you. Now we have the DIY. The DIY. I just said that.
DIY.
DIY.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Do it yourself, man.
I just did.
No one else is good at it.
Versus the Scholars of Discomfort. So, this match did accomplish two things very, very well. It accomplished the fact that DIY is good enough to be champions. They didn't squash them at all. This was no squash whatsoever. In fact, DIY gave these guys a real run for their money for the most part. And Tommaso Ciampa looked great in this match. He German suplexed both of these large men, these behemoths of mass. Both got German suplexed. Very solid work. I never thought I'd say this, but the Authors of Pain had a solid match.
Yeah, they do what they do, like what they're supposed to be. All right,
they do what they do.
The big guy thing, all right.
It took DIY. It took DIY being in there with them in order to bring that, that heavy hitting, big bad, tough guy stigma out of these guys.
I totally buy in that they're monstrous dudes that can't be beat.
Yeah, they built them very well.
Yeah.
They built them real solid, and this was consistent with that.
I said this was going to end in a DQ because I wanted it to save both teams. I didn't want any team to be hurt by this outcome. But they did it in a way that made DIY still look really good.
Yeah, they went with the same double submission spot against
the same spot from Toronto. That was resurrected in this event, and for a moment you thought these guys were going to tap.
Yeah,
you really, really did. I really, really did. I thought they were going to do the same finish over again, but like I said, both of these guys still looked great. DIY. They lost the belts, but they're still look very strong.
This feud will continue for.
And DIY doesn't.
It has to.
Yeah,
there's no choice.
They don't really have.
They have no
nothing else in the card
at the moment.
DIY didn't lose anything by like losing this match. Like
if anything, they've gained a lot more.
Yeah,
because they have a reason to.
You can equate this to go back to 2008. Week 17 of the NFL season when the Giants lost to the Patriots.
That's right.
Yes.
Picked up knowledge. They picked up the strategy.
They played them really well.
Played
them really well. And you fast forward, 5 weeks later, Giants-Patriots meet in the Super Bowl, and the Giants,
overcome the odds.
And then you fast forward to like a few weeks ago when niggas are on the yacht and one and done. So, yeah. How about that?
Well, we didn't have Odell on the team at that time. We had a lot more humbler guys like Steve Smith.
Yeah.
From USC.
You had respectable athletes and not...
You would know something, right, T.O.? It was a very respectable guy,
I said 2008, I mean 2007.
2007 season, but it happened in 2008. The Super Bowl happened in 2008. So you weren't wrong, but, whatever. I get what you were saying. Now, the Authors of Pain win this match eventually with the worst fucking finisher I could ever imagine.
It looked cooler when they did it to them, the other week, when they did the two power bomb instead of just the one.
The two power bombs I can believe. It
was like a clothesline leg sweep.
Yeah, clothesline into a Russian leg sweep sort of combo. And I remember watching the match and going, is that the finish?
Yeah.
And
I don't know why they don't just keep the Super Collider with just and do the two power bombs and have that be their finish.
Because this is a lot more strong looking. The Russian legs.
I don't agree.
That's the point. Yeah, it sucks. It's awful.
It's unnecessary. You don't need two people to have that same impact.
Two very large men are doing a combined finisher that does not require any strength.
The side Russian leg sweep aspect of it is so unnecessary.
It's very awkward looking, and it sucks It's shit. It's complete horse shit for two guys who are supposed to be tanks. Fun fact, by the way, before Razor got tagged in to actually do the Russian leg sweep portion of it, and Akam did the clothesline, or I believe it's Akam did the... Who cares? One of these guys did the clothesline, the other did it. There was a tag made before this finish happened, and I remember calling out and saying, "This is a tag match?" Because for 20 fucking minutes, we just saw four guys going at it, and there was a double submission in the middle of the fucking ring, and I guess we stopped counting after 1800, right?
It's a tag match in a big show.
Why have a count then? Why tell guys to get out of the ring?
It's a tag match in the big show where they get to pick and choose which rules are going to follow and which rules they aren't because wrestling.
Yeah.
This has always been my gripe. This is why PWG is so hard to watch sometimes. And PWG is the same situation. Who the fuck's legal anymore?
That's every tag match. You never know who's legal.
So... There's a tag, by the way, to let us know who's legal, so that way they don't fuck. At least they did that. At least they had the knowledge to know who was the legal man.
When we start watching PWG from now on, we should probably write down on a piece of paper every time there's a tag made and see if the legal man makes the pinfall every time.
We're gonna keep track of the legal man tracker from now on in wrestling because apparently no one fucking knows who's legal anymore.
It's like the Domino's tracker except for legal men.
For legal men, who's legal anymore? So this match ended, like I said, very, very awfully. But aside from that, everything looked good.
Yeah.
Everyone looked strong. DIY looked very strong, while the Authors of Pain
Keep
looked
them undefeated.
looked like they could be beat
Well, yeah.
from here on out. So they're not unstoppable. They could be beat. Now, a very interesting thing happened in the middle of this event. So, Seth Rollins shows the fuck up out of nowhere to, you guessed it, challenge Triple H to a fight. Now, for the first time in months, we actually see Triple H face to face with Seth Rollins, but Paul's too busy. And
He's got a show to run.
He's got a show to run. And you know what? Seth's smart enough to know that Triple H was going to be here at this event. So he caught him in the middle of his event and says, you know, I think it's time. I know you're here, man. I know you're fucking here. So show your goddamn face. Triple H comes out, looks very, very, very,
By the way,
angry.
fairly certain he said shit in that.
I think he said shit on the initial mic grab. I don't think he said shit, let's do this shit. I don't know if
He said, let's do this thing.
Yeah, it sounded a lot like shit, man.
It was thing.
We would hope he said shit.
Maybe, I don't know why, but I just feel like the whole segment was way more edgy than it actually was. Like, maybe it just felt that way. I don't know.
This was a really... To an event that didn't really have too much going on, this was a nice little curveball.
It was.
And this was a really good interference in order to get more stuff on the event, because it wasn't really going too much to worry about in this event.
And he looked legitimately pissed, dude. Like he was
he's been legitimately pissed for a long time, and this is getting really good.
Yeah.
As opposed,
I'd be legitimately pissed if I was fucking working on that shit.
I've shit on this whole angle a lot just because it's so drawn out and it's so far removed from like the initial catalyst for all of this. Yeah. That I just feel like it's it's tired and but this really breathes some new life into the whole thing.
But that's the whole thing is I think that's the whole point is it's kind of like lulling you to sleep about it, but then when it comes back to oh shit, I forgot how cool this was.
Yeah, this definitely breathes some life into that and all that because the game's absence and everything. There hasn't been. It's just been Seth whining for 4 months. You know. This actually made...
How cool was it to see Triple H actually make eye contact?
Yeah, that was sweet.
We haven't seen them make any sort of eye contact since September.
It's literally just been Seth shouting in the dark for for the last couple months.
For a very long time. This was a nice little segment. I like this a lot. It was it felt very organic. It felt very real.
It was very unexpected.
Very unexpected. And the best part of the night was when Seth Rollins fucking leveled a broad.
It was a guy with long hair.
I don't know. I refuse to believe that there were that many guys with man buns and shit on the fucking.
I refuse to believe that they would have just a random woman in security when there's supposed to be a spot where you have a run-in with an angry.
No.
I don't know. It's okay. So here
are you against gender inequality, sir?
Yeah,
what's wrong with you? Women could be security guards at this. What's the problem?
I didn't say that.
No, that's what you're saying. I'm pretty sure.
Why does it not make sense there'd be a random woman in security?
That's not.
I'm pretty sure you're a bigot right now.
Yeah.
I'm okay. Hold on, let me check my white male privilege.
So, for all you playing along at home, Seth's tight. He calls out the game. The game comes out. He's like, oh, Seth's here. Well, I don't have time for this shit. I got a show to run. Monkeys, go get him. So he gives the finger wave, and a bunch of security comes out. And amongst them is this lone broad, okay? Who comes charging in with the rest of the cavalry.
It was a guy.
And, Seth just takes this bitch's head off mid-stride, bro. Just straight to
levels
with a
this fucking chick.
Yes. Just absolutely levels this bitch on his way into, the rest of the security, which eventually corrals him. But goddamn, that was fantastic.
I am so grateful for the fact that the security guards... it's a bad week for security.
Yeah.
Because Asuka's kicking your ass, Nikki Cross is kicking your ass, Seth Rollins in a hoodie is kicking your ass.
They basically need to rehire all the NXT security. Put an ad up on Craigslist or something. Get some new guys in there because everyone's getting cleaned out.
This is a bad marketing ploy for security guards. Let's say you want to be a security guard. It's your dream.
Yeah.
Okay? You see these guys getting tossed around like fucking nothing. You go, that looks awful. I don't want to get beat the fuck up.
Yeah.
And more importantly, I don't want to get beat up by a guy who just leveled a chick on national television.
Like, you know when you sign up for this gig, there's a chance that, like, some Japanese woman's gonna whip your ass in a pair of jeans.
And kick your face off.
Or, you know...
And Nikki Cross is gonna bite your fucking dick off.
Yeah, which is a fear that I have every time I see her in the ring. Or Seth Rollins is gonna, like, you know, clothesline your girlfriend or something. You never know.
So if you are having issues with your girlfriend, call Seth Rollins. He will take care of that very quickly with some good old fashioned testosterone.
You're right. He'll be the architect of her neck brace.
Speaking of broad, so the Fatal 4-Way women's match for the NXT Women's Championship. Now, it says Fatal 4-Way on the marquee, but I think it was a one-on-one match. But, you know, as opposed to what Nick thinks, or Tyson, I mean, keeping kayfabe alive. For the most part, this match was not too awful. Peyton Royce and Billie Kay did not get involved enough to ruin the match. Because, for the most part, Nikki and Asuka they were being teased. There was a lot of teasing going on to get them one-on-one in the middle of the ring. And of course, you know, the Australian fucking broads had to get in the middle of it. Had to ruin the moment.
They smartly ducked out, as heels do, to allow their quarries to weaken themselves before they came in and did the old double team, you know?
I guess.
It's smart heel work.
I will piggyback on what you just said in the sense that... So, Anthony brought up a great point.
Yeah.
There is a Fatal 4-Way match.
I did.
Okay?
I totally forgot about this point.
Let's think about this logic here. We have 4 women in the match. 2 of them are up each other's ass infinitely, and the other 2 just want to fight each other, and they're actual athletes. However, the other 2 who are holding hands half the fucking time could have just pinned each other and got it over with.
The whole Jericho Kevin Owens thing of if one's the champion, they're both champions.
Why go through the trouble?
Especially after they put Nikki Cross through the table and Asuka was out of the ring. All they had to do was run in the ring and one just lie on her back and the other one...
And for a minute, I actually thought that's what they were going to do, but instead, Billie Kay dropped down and put her knee out for that spot. When she pointed to the floor, it's like, just get down there. Like, I thought, oh, okay, she's actually going to do it. Like, go ahead, just pin. One of you just decide who's going to take the fall. You're both going to be champs anyway.
Yeah. Wait, so Billie was going to let Peyton do it?
Well, no, I thought that's what was going to happen, but instead she put her knee out to do that spot where she has the face buster on the knee,
How about this? Better question. If they actually ended up winning one of them, who would have done it? Who would have gone over?
I would say Billie Kay, because Peyton Royce has literally been riding her fucking tampon, like, the entire time she's, like, been in... Since she came back into relevance, But we did get to see a widow's peak, which was pretty sweet.
We did get to see a Peyton Royce hit a widow's peak
which is
towards the end.
It's been a while since I saw that.
She held her own against Asuka after the whole double team on Nikki Cross on the outside. By the way, on a table that was conveniently placed directly next to the announcing table, which this table had absolutely no fucking purpose.
It's almost like it was set up on purpose for that spot.
But it had a black cloth, so it's almost, it's for their water.
It blended it in with the rest of the shit.
Right?
But it was nice they did like a double vert spot off of the announce table. That was cool.
I do appreciate the reaction from Billie Kay when she laughed and giggled like a high school girl because she just... Oh my God! Did a wrestling move? You know.
Wow. She does a lot of those actually because she's a fantastic wrestler.
So here's where did they indeed win the breakout stars of the year?
From what they said during the match, yeah, they won. They won the NXT breakout stars of the.
So it's rigged.
Yeah, those awards weren't kayfabed at all.
Those were not voted upon because I didn't vote for it.
They're not yours.
No one phoned it in.
Breakout stars of the year.
No one phoned in on the Nickelodeon Choice Awards about this.
Not my breakout stars.
So I don't think that was rigged.
That's for real. If you're gonna do breakout star of the year, it can't not be Shinsuke Nakamura
or anybody else
or
on the
Bobby
fucking roster. Billie Kay and Peyton Royce, or Billie Kay?
I think
both.
it's both of
Is
them,
it
which
both?
doesn't make any sense.
They didn't break out. What did they break out of?
Peyton Royce literally showed up like at the end of the year. Like she just showed up right before the fall. Like it wasn't.
I'm sorry, sir, but it was rigged. It was.
Billie Kay
It was a work.
Had a lot of momentum in the beginning half of the year. She did a lot of really good stuff. So it just sucks that Peyton showed up and turned her
Killed her steam, right?
Yeah, killed her steam and then turned it this weird heel gimmick and stuff. Like she was doing fine on her
This
own.
weird lesbian angle is just getting tired now.
I wish it was a lesbian angle.
Nonetheless, both women put Nikki Cross through a table, and Nikki Cross is then eliminated from the match. Figuratively and
I was
physically.
really surprised by that. I thought that she would play a much more dominant role in this whole thing. You know, I was.
They're going to hold off.
Yeah.
I believe they're going to hold off on the whole Nikki Cross.
Yeah, they probably wanted to wait to dispose of her.
Yeah.
Well, that's cool. At least they're saving her. You know, keeping her kind of strong, and she got double teamed.
Well, she went through the table, and at the end of the match, she looked and giggled at Asuka on the ramp, so she's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, because she's
good. I'm sure EY and them do that to her on a regular basis. So.
They slap her around. They burn her with cigarettes all the time.
Yeah, I'm sure she's getting out of hand all the time back there. She's getting out of pocket, you know?
The end of the match came about when Asuka, or was it Asuka? Yeah, no. Asuka and Peyton Royce were left in the ring. Peyton actually got her shit in very well. There was a couple of good kicks. Asuka ejects Billie Kay with a nice buzzsaw kick and kicked her fucking face off, gets her out of the ring, and then Peyton Royce and Asuka proceed to have a one-on-one confrontation. Peyton Royce holds her own, but at the end of the day, this is Asuka.
Yeah, it was cool if they let Peyton look strong.
So Peyton looks strong. Yeah. Billie Kay got her fucking face kicked in and got let out of the ring for her concerns. Do you have an opposition to that statement, sir?
What, that she got her face kicked off? I mean,
No. The fact that Peyton Royce looked better than Billie Kay in this match.
I mean, I feel like she had more opportunities, but yeah, they gave her more spots.
Peyton Royce got a lot more moves in than Billie Kay did.
They gave her more opportunities in the sequence, is what I'll say about that.
You are very mad about this situation.
I'm not mad. I'm just saying, she's clearly not the better wrestler than Billie Kay, but whatever.
Well, in any event, Asuka wins the match as if no one saw that coming. Because Asuka, and she's a force to be reckoned with.
Indeed.
But once again, we will go back to the point being that Billie Kay and Peyton Royce could have just pinned each other because why not?
It's Fatal 4-Way.
Fatal 4-Way match, and Asuka didn't have to get pinned to win it. Now, the main event of the evening, Shinsuke Nakamura versus Bobby Roode for the NXT World Championship. Bobby Roode makes an exceptional entrance with his hose.
Dude.
His flock of
He didn't
hose.
make an exceptional entrance.
He made a
glorious entrance.
It was wonderful. For the most part, this match was very mind gamey. There was a lot of psychological warfare going on in this match, and it started out with Bobby Roode. Thank you, PC, for telling me the battery's low. It started off with Bobby Roode playing a lot of mind games with Shinsuke Nakamura. Then Bobby gets very technical on him, starts working the arm. So we do see Nakamura get very weak during this match. He does get, Bobby goes over on him a few times. Now, where the match really took a big shift in momentum was when Nakamura puts his foot up to stop Bobby Roode from clotheslining him into the corner, whatever it was he was going to do. And he puts his foot up, but Bobby catches him, flips him over the fucking turnbuckle, and then he lands on his fucking neck on these steel steps. Now, after that happened, it was all fucking gravy from here on out, because all Bobby had to do was work the neck, work the back. Pretty much what he did. He worked the neck and worked the back, which was the fatigued parts of Nakamura.
His neck, his back.
That's a very inappropriate joke. Now, Bobby Roode played a lot of possum with Nakamura. Did play that possum where he did the overhead. Nakamura hit him with I believe it was the overhead exploder suplex or the fucking flips exploder, whatever that was, whatever it's called. And Nakamura.
All exploder suplexes are overhead.
Well, he flipped him over.
Yeah, it's. Yeah.
Oh, really? Okay, well, fuck me. So Nakamura's in the corner, setting up for a Kinshasa. I can still not say that.
The Bomaye.
Yeah, the Bomaye knee, please, yes.
The Psycho knee.
The Bomaye knee, setting up for it, and he's waiting and waiting, and Bobby Roode does not budge, does not move whatsoever. And he just stays down, and Nakamura, for the first time, I've never seen a guy just stay down instead of getting up and getting kicked in the fucking face, or getting a knee to the fucking face. Bobby Roode doesn't get up, so Nakamura gets mad. Haha, but Bobby is all a ruse the whole time. Plays possum with him, then we get taken over to the outside of the ring. This is where the match really took a turn for the stupid, and I do say that with regards to Shinsuke Nakamura. Because Nakamura decides to, while Bobby Roode is hanging on the apron, standing on the corner, on the outside, on the apron, Nakamura decides to get on the top turnbuckle, directly across from him, and tries to do the Bomaye knee. He lands right on his fucking ass. Directly on his ass, and then he sells the knee as if the knee got hurt. So he hurt his knee on the way down. He still gets the knee off, but here is where the match reaches its climax. Gets him in the ring, hits him with another Bomaye knee, but he cannot get the pinfall out in time because his fucking knee is really fucked up right now. Because this guy does Kinshasas on the outside on the apron, that's pretty dangerous, but he did it anyways. So, that was the focal point for Bobby Roode. Bobby Roode puts him in a single leg crab and starts punching this fucking knee mercilessly. So he's really going to town on this fucking knee. Now, the whole time that the trainers were working on Nakamura, they were looking at him. Maybe they didn't want him to continue. However, Bobby Roode does not give a fuck. Grabs Shinsuke, hits him with a DDT, then he kicks out. And this is where I thought Nakamura was going to indeed win this match.
Indeed.
I thought, because I didn't see the initial spot, I was looking away, so when he was playing the knee, I thought like he legit hurt it because of how long they were taking, and
yeah.
The doctor
if you look
at it out pretty well.
Yeah.
If you look at the landing, he didn't.
Yeah, I didn't see that. I didn't see it happen. So
it wasn't clear that
yeah.
But they did really sell that.
But when he kicked out, I knew for sure that it wasn't that it was definitely an angle they were going with there.
Yeah.
Because if it was a legitimate injury that he couldn't continue, they wouldn't let the pinfall keep going.
So then Nakamura is getting tended to. Bobby Roode hits him with the knee, kicks out, which I was shocked because I thought Bobby Roode was gonna actually fucking win the match right then and there.
Yeah.
Nakamura kicks out, so there's a hint of there's a small window of opportunity or small hope for Nakamura to walk out of here as champion. Lo and behold, Bobby doesn't give a fuck. Hits him with another one and wins the match. 1, 2, 3.
He skipped the whole him using the single crab and punching the knee.
No, I said that already.
Oh, you said it out of order then.
Oh, I'm sorry. Was it in between?
Because it happens after the pinfall.
Yeah.
I apologize. Yeah, it happened in between the knees. And I thought he went to it
because it happens
initially.
after the knee injury because that's when he starts really working the knee.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right, so he's going to town the knee after the trainers wanted to look at him, and I thought he was going to tap out, but
yeah, that's what I thought too.
Hits him with another glorious DDT, and Bobby Roode is your new NXT champion.
I don't think anybody saw that coming.
I personally had no fucking clue this was going to. I didn't think this was how. I thought Nakamura was walking out as champion. I thought they were going to continue this wave, but pretty much the same reason why you gave the Authors of Pain the championships. You need a monster heel to hold onto the belt.
Yeah, and it gives us the storyline a good reason to continue to play out.
It's completely out of necessity because there's nobody else, and if Nakamura took it, then there wouldn't be anybody until they either built Roddy or somebody to that level. All right, so I'll go.
Tell us how you feel.
I'll go. I'm the one voice of dissent among the group. I thought that this was bullshit. I understand from a logistics standpoint why they did it, because purely out of necessity. But let's look at this for what it is. This is Nakamura, who it's not even arguably, who is your biggest superstar ever. That this is like the biggest thing you've had since this show's been a thing. It's Nakamura.
Finn Balor.
Yeah, but Finn Balor's not as big as Nakamura in this. And even if he was, thanks to power creep, Nakamura beat him, so therefore he is bigger. Here's why that's a problem. Because Bobby Roode, a guy who has had maybe 3 matches prior to this in a feud that has literally no build, that they literally created this out of thin air, out of necessity, because there's, again, nobody else, goes over the man who has been undefeated up until now and has beaten, like, everybody. Like, literally everybody.
Nakamura was undefeated.
Who beat him?
Joe.
Samoa Joe.
Oh, yeah, for, like, a hot second. Like, who cares?
Still beat him.
Yeah, he held that. He took that from him for like all of 2 weeks, and then he got it back.
Still counts.
Oh, I'm sorry, Ann. Thank you, Watchdog, for making sure. Okay. Regardless, okay, your almost undefeated champion gets beaten by the barely tested Bobby Roode, who has literally no grounds to even be in this match outside the fact that he's a guy.
He won the tournament. He won the tournament together.
Yeah. It's absolutely goddamn ridiculous. Like, Bobby Roode is not better than Nakamura. Bobby Roode has no, outside of winning this stupid
Nobody's
fucking tournament.
that.
He beat guys like Ty Dillinger and shit to like get here. Like, he hasn't had a legitimate. There's nothing to Bobby Roode outside of his theme song. He's a song and a gimmick. He hasn't built any clout in this company, and he's literally just a name and a song. That's it. And a very underwhelming finisher. So
That's pretty much what Nakamura was too before he.
Nakamura had a lot behind him when he came through, and he beat a bunch of really good guys, icons in NXT, like Sami Zayn, like Finn Balor, who you mentioned earlier. He built himself to this point, and then
Yes.
after all of that legacy, he gets toppled by Bobby Roode, who just showed up, who has no real.
He didn't beat Nakamura healthy though. He beat him with an injured knee.
It doesn't matter.
Doesn't hurt Nakamura.
He injured the knee, so it does hurt Nakamura.
Nakamura hurt himself.
Yeah.
He hurt himself in the match with Bobby, though. He hurt himself trying to hurt Bobby. So, like, I'm just saying. Here's why this is bad.
You're the only one that feels this way.
I'm the only one on the planet because Anthony knows everything about everyone who's thinking anything right now. Sure. Here's why this is wrong. Okay. By proxy, now Bobby Roode has beaten all the champions before him because that's how it works.
That's not how it works.
Unfortunately,
that's not how it works.
by proxy.
So, all right. By that logic, since Jack Swagger held the World Heavyweight Championship, he's better than Shawn Michaels. He's better than Stone Cold Steve Austin.
WWE.
He's better than The Rock.
Short memory.
He's better than Chris
blah
Benoit.
blah blah. Something short. I'm pretty sure you said like 3 broadcasts ago that you have to have a short memory in the WWE, right?
I know.
Okay.
But you're saying the opposite.
No, I'm saying this. I'm talking about within recent memory. This is still short memory. Within the last year, okay, we've seen Nakamura beat a lot of guys.
Nakamura. He didn't beat a healthy Nakamura.
Yeah, he didn't.
This isn't legit. This isn't as bad as
No one is claiming that Nakamura is beneath Bobby Roode. Bobby Roode took advantage of an injury. So he didn't beat him clean in the middle of the ring. He had to abuse
If
the injury that
Nakamura
was
doesn't
presented.
get this title back immediately, if he doesn't get this shit back, this is going to be a travesty, is all I'm saying.
And spoiler alert, sometimes titles are used for story progression, not necessarily to determine who's the best.
Yeah, this is a great story of a guy who literally has no build in this match whatsoever, just taking the strap off of, like, the biggest guy that they've built in a very long time. You've let Nakamura go over everybody.
All right.
Everybody.
How are you going to get the belt off of this guy then?
You you build up somebody big enough to take it off of him convincingly. You don't let him take it in some bullshit fashion.
Bobby
like
Roode's
this.
pretty hot.
Bobby Roode's the only hot heel you've got in the company.
He's hot because of a song. He's not.
It doesn't matter how you're hot. It matters that you're hot.
So you think this was a good move?
It was a phenomenal move.
Yeah.
Why?
Because he's Bobby Roode. He's a gimmick. He's not necessarily the best wrestler on the planet. Same goes for Stone Cold. Same goes for The Rock. The Rock fucking sucks, dude. The Rock's not the best wrestler on the planet. Point being, he is a great gimmick. He's a great heel. He's exactly.
Are you trying to compare Bobby Roode to The Rock? Because that's what it sounded like you just did.
But you're trying to justify why he won the belt because his in-ring work is not that
you're trying to
great.
justify why he won the belt. I'm saying he shouldn't have. You're trying to tell me why he should have. And all you said was he's like The Rock.
In terms of in-ring work, his in-ring work is not that great.
Okay.
So, but he understands, even Bobby Roode understands that his gimmick gets himself over.
Bobby
His
Roode is a
theme-
good worker. He's not a flashy worker.
No, I'm not saying he's a bad
in there to
worker.
do
I'm not
this-
saying he's a bad wrestler. I'm just saying that he's not big enough to do what he just did. And
He's the only big heel in the company.
He's
right
the
now.
only. That's what I'm saying. This is out of necessity.
I agree that I wish that Bobby Roode had more time to become something bigger.
Like this,
But-
they pulled this feud out of thin air. Like it's literally like, oh, Bobby Roode, you're a big guy,
and I know
Nakamura, you're a guy.
I know you're going to say it's not an excuse, but they have to do something. They have to make something happen that's interesting. And this
Wait a
might be
second.
setting up a Nakamura call up because that's probably coming soon too.
It would fucking better
Yeah.
because
Wait a minute, this didn't get pulled out of thin air. If you looked at the footage, sir, I'll have you know, Bobby Roode watched Shinsuke Nakamura's match at NXT TakeOver Dallas last year against Sami Zayn in the crowd.
he
Knew this
was
day was coming.
there. He was there because he was gonna get signed. You
if that's the reason for setting up a match, dude, I watched the match.
Yeah, I watched the match too, so I guess I can do it too.
Yeah.
And you know,
He
hopefully he'll hurt himself. And I'll just
the
go over
ticket.
because everyone likes to
Kept-
sing my song.
Fucking kept the ticket and said,
Fuck you.
"This is my ticket to the championship matchup." All right.
Erroneous, bro.
In defense,
Erroneous.
in defense of all parties, look, I understand that Bobby Roode is not exactly the greatest performer on the roster right now. There's a lot of guys you could have got to do
A
this.
lot of guys that are better.
But just like the Revival, he is more of a character. He is more of a heel.
I agree. Like again,
He is not. He understands that he cannot win without taking extreme measures, like capitalizing on a knee injury.
This is more old school wrestling.
Like I said at the outset, I get it from a logistics standpoint. I understand why they did it. Like I'm not saying that entirely that it doesn't work for what they have to work with. I'm just saying that I wish it could have been somebody better suited for this kind of thing to take the title off of him. I would have liked to see Nakamura drop the title to somebody, at least in a better built feud, or to somebody who is a more dominant force in the company.
When you've only got it, sadly, when you've only got shows every once in a blue moon.
I know
and this pay-per-view or this event was completely.
I feel like this was
built off of nothing.
This was the best of a bad situation, and I'm not going to sit here and like throw them a bone and say, oh well, they didn't have a lot of time to build it, so for what it was, this was pretty good. I can sit there and say the same thing about the first Naomi Alexa Bliss match, which was complete shit, by the way.
Oh yeah,
because like Becky fell ill, like, or whatever happened to her, we still don't know.
No, I don't know.
Like she fell ill, so they only had a couple hours to put the match together. So for what it was, man, fuck that. Okay, I'm not giving anyone an excuse. Like fuck that noise. Like you didn't have to go to Melbourne, you didn't have to go to Japan, you didn't have to take a break. You could have kept going with your programming and built a proper pay-per-view. But I'm not saying that this was bad.
Global expansion is
global expansion. That's fine, but there's a time and a place, and there's like they didn't need to do what they did. And I'm not saying that like
they really should have done that.
Yeah, claiming territories is fine, but like this close to TakeOver, build some fucking matches, dude. Like build some rivalries. This was okay, but it was just okay.
Yeah.
And takeovers have been renowned for being sweet as fuck. Yeah. And this is honestly the first time ever that I think that, because they always do this in tandem with like a main roster pay-per-view.
Well, lately,
lately. This is the first time ever that at least in recent memory, that I think that the main roster shit might actually beat the NXT event, which never happens.
Yeah.
Usually, like whatever they're paired with, they always blow them out of the water, and it's hilarious because it's like Triple H is doing so much better than fucking Vince and all that, you know. But the Royal Rumble might actually like put its dick right in TakeOver's mouth.
What hindered this was possible call-ups at the Royal Rumble.
Possible
call-ups.
Because we might be. Well, I'm pretty sure we'll be seeing Ty. I'm pretty sure we'll be seeing Samoa Joe.
But Ty did a good job though. Like Ty did a good job.
Ty did great, but the point is with the talent either being restricted, or they wanted them at the Rumble, or they have plans for them going on down the line. It's always obviously I don't think Triple H intended this to be bad. He tries his best every I'm not saying
that it was bad. It just wasn't good. And I mean, in the TakeOver world, that's bad. Yeah. Because TakeOvers are usually great.
Here's the problem. This this event was much better than a lot of the things WWE puts on.
Yeah, but that's not a very high bar, so it doesn't matter. That's like being the smartest kid with Down syndrome.
But even NXT's awfulest, bad or worst built events are still pretty good.
I understand what you're saying. That like there shouldn't be an excuse, and like just because it's graded against the WWE low bar stuff, like. But still, let's not kill it either.
No. I'm not saying that at all. I haven't said that at all. I'm not saying that it's bad. I'm saying that it's average. Like it had its moments. It was okay. Like I'd give this maybe a 3 out of 5. Like it's not.
I would agree with that.
Like it's not. It was solid. But it was, like everyone worked well and all that. But there wasn't any substance to any of these matches.
What they should have done is instead of having like those big Melbourne and Japan shows, is they maybe should have tried to work in television with it instead of. Having everything so disjointed for like a month and a half.
Or they could have simply done what they could have just covered it in one show instead of breaking it across a couple shows. Like okay, the first one they did where they showed like the Nakamura Joe match.
Yeah, because they did the 2 title matches like separate, and then they ran those full shows.
And then they ran the full show. They ran the rest of the undercard, and it's like, no, who cares?
Yeah,
like it's all filler. Like nothing major.
Yeah.
Like no major titles are changing hands. No storylines are being advanced.
Yeah,
you're literally just it's basically you're watching a glorified dark match.
Yeah, they should have ran those as television. They
you know what I'm saying?
Put the television angles in that with just the 2 big main events.
It just had exactly like they could have gone about that in an entirely different way. They didn't have to stretch this out and make us sit through all that crap and do a bunch of recaps and shit about it. They didn't need to waste like a month of programming on that, especially with Takeover coming so close. And then you paint yourselves into a corner and only give yourselves a couple of weeks to build up some feuds. I mean, like a lot of this, and granted, I'll give them this. A lot of this stuff was ready made. You know, like the whole the tag match that was just add water. You know what I'm saying? Like that was pretty much an inevitability. The thing with CN, like again, there's not a lot of guys, so you don't have a lot to work with. So I mean, they're doing what they can and piecing together what they can.
Yeah,
I feel like the best built match of this was probably the women's match, and they only had one segment for that, and that's saying a lot because I mean they literally only had like a week or two to like do that, and it just. I don't know. The whole thing just feels very hollow and very piecemeal and very last minute. I mean, everyone did fantastic work, and like you said, the work really saved this thing.
Yeah.
But the card itself and the organization and everything just.
It was and we even admitted it. I even admitted it when I said that. You know, Roddy said something about Almas being an asshole or whatever the fuck he said on commentary. And then boom, he's got a match.
Yeah.
And then Ty, I don't want that fucking jacket. Boom, match. You know, so
and all this stuff happened like last week.
Yeah.
Too, like, you know
so I understand where you're coming from, but I will have the opinion that they did well with what they had.
Yeah,
you could only do what you have. If you listen to the conference call Triple H had with like a bunch of people, he has this conference call, a quarterly conference call. He says, I really had my fucking hands tied for this shit. So it's not hyped up, and people don't really need to be too hyped, but we hope that you still give it a chance, because...
Like, I really thought that this, especially the main event, I thought was literally just, we need a body. Bobby's the biggest body. That's not Nakamura, so let's put him in there. I really thought Nakamura was going to go over. And
everybody did.
Yeah, and then continue to be Nakamura, and then just wait for the next guy.
Well, this is a hook to sink there, or this is a good... juicy storyline to sink their teeth into.
Build from.
The injury, it sets up Roode as champion. It sets up an angle to, bounce the title back and forth.
And I mean, I'm not gonna lie, part of me is glad for Bobby Roode, because I like Bobby Roode. You know, everyone likes Bobby Roode. Yeah. Like, we're all down with the song and shit. And, like, I've been down with Bobby for a minute. Like, you guys have too. And, like, I don't want to appear like that salty where I'm not happy for the man. But I just wish it could have gone down in a different fashion. Like, I didn't want him to be the guy to take it off of Nakamura. That's all.
And isn't it crazy that 2 of the 3 world champions in the WWE right now are TNA guys?
Yeah, that's
right.
Very. And one guy is a PW or ROH and PWG guy. So all champions now were indie. Indie talents. Well, TNA is not indie, but it might as well be.
Yeah, the TNA is kind of.
Like now, nowadays,
Like, that really says a lot about the direction that this company's taken in the last couple of years.
I don't think that's something we would have ever thought would have happened, even
Not
a year
at all.
ago.
No.
Not at all. It really says a lot, and
I'm glad. I'm genuinely glad to see the TNA guys doing something
I'm
other
glad
than
the
rotting
TNA,
away.
like, the TNA stain isn't like held against them.
No.
Yeah, but it's like, at the same time, you know how I feel, man. Like, build your fucking guys. Like, build your own guys. But they're strong dudes, and...
They're easy.
They're easy guys to put the belts on.
Same thing about just adding water. You don't have to really work with them. They're pros. They've been doing this for forever.
But also,
you
like,
don't
just
have
add
to
water
worry.
stuff, it's lazy. It's fucking
Of course.
lazy. Build your
Of course,
talent.
but when you've got two different brands now,
that's
you
fine.
need more
But
to add to the sandwich.
Build your talent base. Stop being lazy. Build your guys and make some convincing rivalries, and don't disappoint me, because I'm paying $0.00 for this. Thanks to Antonio. So
I'm paying my hard-earned $10.59 every month.
Well, with that being said, that was NXT Takeover in a very large nutshell. But however you feel about the outcome of it all, it was 3 out of 5. We'll leave it at that. It was in the middle. It wasn't awful. It wasn't.
It was decent.
Amazing, but
I think they'll be back to regular NXT stuff going forward, and I think that NXT Takeover, fucking Orlando is where WrestleMania is here. I think that'll be a much better show.
I hope so.
We will.
As long as we have some build, we'll be fine.
We will wait until
And
then.
this is the worst thing NXT. This is the worst NXT gets. Like, it's still. I mean, it's still not
it's
bad.
pretty
It's
watchable.
still
It's not
pretty
bad.
good.
It's just bad in comparison to the other stuff.
Yeah, the other,
I've grown accustomed to a certain amount of quality from takeovers.
the other takeovers have set quite a.
They set the bar high.
This man's been spoiled by the great wrestling on NXT.
Maybe I'm spoiled by.
God forbid they have an okay show and he's all over
And
it.
I was like, no, fuck that.
This is unacceptable.
It just sucks that it's been an okay show and it's been a few months of very okay to television.
Yeah, like,
so it's just
it
been like
feels like kind of a low point.
And I think
NXT,
a lot of people are having like that same kind of NXT fatigue.
Well,
it's like
when
a
you
wall.
raid the entire locker room of all the talent they had, what are you supposed to do?
Yeah, and the NXT roster, like even though
was
it normally
depleted.
is thinner, it feels super thin right now. So they have to really.
This is purely a decision spawned out of Vince McMahon calling everyone and their mother up from NXT because he had to fill his fucking rosters for the draft. So what are you supposed to do? And Triple H looks like he's got his hands full. He's going to have his hands full with the UK guys. He's got a lot more guys coming in. We saw Tyler Bate on the show, so
hopefully
there's still a lot more to do, and I'm pretty sure the guy's got his hands full, but we will see where NXT goes with this, and hopefully the television gets a lot better from here on out, and hopefully the Orlando show's way, way better. But in any event, we'll leave it at 3 out of 5. Wasn't that great, wasn't that bad. And we will join all of you for tomorrow after the Royal Rumble. It will be, once again, 3 o'clock in the morning, and we will be dead by the time we put this out there. But, till then, top guys out.